So if we can kind of scoot into the middle, John. Whatever. Yeah.
Sharif, I might steal your jacket. It's so chilly. I'll bring it up. Good morning, good morning. We are, I think there's a couple more people coming in. You'll see how cold I am. Cold. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I think everyone is kind of embracing the sunshine and, you know, on their patio. I would probably be on my back patio listening to the Zoom with Ronnie. Okay, it is exactly 12 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I do respect everyone's time. I'm very grateful that you are here joining us. I'm super excited about our speaker this afternoon. Our mission as the Ridgefield Chamber is to network and to collaborate with our businesses and add value. And I hope that you get lots of value out of today's meeting. My name is Dawn Bell. I am your chamber president this year. We have several board members in, and we will do introductions at the end, because I'm really hoping that we will learn something from today and maybe play a game at the end, right? Okay. My other hat that I wear, I am a lender with Evergreen Home Loans. I have been doing mortgage lending for a long time. I specialize in construction lending and working with first-time home buyers. So the market's kind of crazy right now, but we are still lending and people are still buying, believe it or not, right? Okay, so I'm gonna let Ronnie have as much time as we possibly can. Thank you so much again for coming. Miss Christine is our Rachel today. She's not here. So she's gonna be back there, but are we all set to go? Do we have any Zoom friends? Any friends on Zoom that
Scott is with us today.
Hi, Scott.
Oh, good. Okay, so we can't see the friends that are on Zoom, but that's okay.
That's good. We don't want.
Okay.
We don't want to see it, Scott.
Christine was our beneficiary here, and she was able to round up Ronnie. Ronnie is a very well-known networking marketing individual. She is in Des Moines, Idaho, Iowa.
We call that Iowa. Yeah.
Iowa. Graduate. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to let you take it away, friend, and I'm going to. Are you there?
Is that?
You are ready. You are on.
So it's me. Okay, I thought. Okay. I apologize. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. I'm really thrilled to be able to share my ideas with the Ridgefield Chamber community. And I think you all will like what I prepared. Christine, of course, has seen it about 36 times. And if you don't like it, please blame her and not me. So I'm going to, sorry, Christine. I'm going to start with how to get the most out of today's training because we have limited time and I want to deliver the value that everybody expects. So the first thing I'm going to suggest to you is number one, to ask questions. Now, it's kind of a wonky thing doing this hybrid event. So Christine is my Vanna White, and she is going to be sort of the point person for your questions. And it's totally okay to interrupt. And I can see you, but not very closely. So if somebody raises my hand and I notice it, I'll be able to see it. But Christine is your point person for questions. If you do have a question, though, and you don't feel like interrupting, I recommend that you write the question down because you should be having some notes. Now, the second thing is that I invite you to do is to crush those ants. And by ants, I mean automatic negative thoughts. Now, you might be thinking that something that I say is not right for you, or you think it's weird or whatever, but please don't get bogged down in details and don't install any limiting beliefs or self-fulfilling prophecies here, because the bad news is when you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. So when an ant pops up, I say crush it. And third, of course, is going to be to take notes, because taking notes helps you focus, helps you stay on track, and also helps you identify those ideas that you might want to incorporate in your own networking. And it'll help you figure out which work for you. And everybody should have a copy of the written notes.
Ronnie?
Yeah?
I'm so sorry. I printed them and they're on my kitchen table.
Well, golly.
And I apologize. I will send them out to everybody. And I'll get some notepads for everybody right now.
Perfect. Thank you, Dawn. Really appreciate that. So here is what the notes actually looked like. And with that, they've got some little images there to help you remember what we're talking about. But that's okay. If you just take notes, you'll be great. So let's dive right into this. So the first question, since we're talking about networking for newbies, let's start at the very beginning with a quick little definition. But actually, before we hit the definition, I think I want to cover what networking isn't. Okay. Networking isn't selling. Networking isn't recruitment opportunities. Networking is not pitching opportunities. Networking is not a job interview. Networking is not a monologue. And networking is not only about you. Yeah, unfortunately, but a lot of people think, well, what is networking about then? If it's not all those things, well, my friend, it is about connecting to serve, share, and support, and connecting to create mutually beneficial relationships. So networking is more than just going to events and more than just showing up. It is a marketing strategy that can build your reputation, that can create a referral network, and can generate consistent leads. Networking can be the way you build your business. I tell you, that's what I did for mine, and I know it works. Even though, full disclosure, I am a hardcore introvert, and I wouldn't be networking if I didn't realize how incredibly valuable it was. However, but rather than just doing a whole bunch of rando networking stuff, like going to as many meetings as possible, I encourage you to take networking very seriously. And that starts with choosing the right strategies, the basics of which we're going to be covering today. In addition to the right strategies, of course, there are a few tools that will make a significant difference in your networking experience, and I'll be sharing those. And finally, the attitude. So bottom line, there are 3 things you need for networking success: the right strategies, the right tools, the right attitude. And today we're going to go deeper into those tools and strategies in just a moment, but I want to address the attitude issue right now, because the wrong attitude can be the greatest mistake in networking. And in case it isn't already obvious, well, I'll say that in just a minute. So what is the greatest mistake in networking? What does it look like exactly? And how is it attitude? Well, you can make a lot of mistakes, but you can still have the right attitude, so you're covered. But if you have the wrong attitude, that is the worst. And so the greatest mistake in networking is the wrong attitude, and that means treating networking as a transaction instead of a relationship. So if you go to a networking meeting expecting to make a sale, to be handed referrals, you may be doing it wrong. If you go to networking meetings with a sales agenda instead of a connection agenda, you're probably doing it wrong, because networking is not selling, networking is connecting. And these connections, of course, can be incredibly valuable and profitable. But treating networking like a sales transaction is a surefire way to damage your own reputation, to actually depress referrals and never get the benefits of true connection. Because referrals aren't the only outcome of networking. You're going to become known, liked, and trusted when you network with the attitude of service and connection. Look at Christine. She's a great example of this. And this attitude also magnetizes opportunity, like joint ventures, speaking gigs, more referrals, all sorts of things can come your way when you treat networking as the connection opportunity that it is. So what does that look like? Especially if you're new to networking, you might not know some of these things. So let's run over these 9 essential strategies and tools of effective networking. And so now is a good time to start taking notes if you haven't already, because as I mentioned, writing these ideas down, even if you never look at this your notes again, helps you remember and implement the good stuff. All right, so the very first thing to remember, the first strategy is to show up at the right place. Right now, you are in the right place. Now, bear in mind, though, that the right place might not be the right place for you, might not be the right place for other people. So what I recommend to my clients when they start networking, the number one place you want to go is your chamber. You also probably want to do industry associations or leads groups, but you want to start where other businesses gather. And the truth is, though, you can network pretty much anywhere in groups as well as one-on-one, but my strong recommendation, especially if you're a newbie, is that you start, well, probably in two places. Number one, your chamber, you're in the right place. And number two, a networking group. And I'll get to why in just a moment, but those are the places where you can make connections the fastest. And a lot of people say networking doesn't work very fast. It can if you go the right place with the right attitude and you do the right things and say the right things, which we'll talk about here. So, but caution, don't go all nuts and spend all your time networking. Meeting people for the first time is only step one. And we're going to cover more details today. And as a matter of fact, this is a really good time to tell you, I have a complete, fully written networking plan that I'm going to share with you. I'm not going to share it in today, but you can download it afterwards. So if you're wondering, how do I put all these ideas together? I've got a plan and I will give it to you and completely free. Okay, so the next thing is you go to the right place. The next thing to do is to meet the right people. And this is whether they're virtual or on site. Now, the key is to understand where the value is. And most of us, when we're new, assume that the highest value connection at networking is meeting with prospects. So let's see by a show of hands, who here is looking for prospects when they're networking? Show of hands. Yay, I see a bunch of people. Actually, that might not be your best bet. And I'll explain why. There are 5 different general categories of people I recommend that you pursue relationships with. You're going to meet a lot of people, obviously, networking. But the 5 categories: prospects, peers, so people who do the same thing you do, maybe for another company; potential power partners, are people who can create business alliances and share clients, so to speak; potential vendors; and organizations. But what I would recommend is that you focus on 2 kinds of people: peers and potential power partners. So, and the reason, and not prospects, is that if you spend all of your time focusing on a prospect, maybe eventually you make a sale, but you have lost the opportunity to enhance your reputation and to create relationships with other people. And also, who here, let's see another show of hands, who here has come to this networking meeting today hoping to pull out your credit card and buy something from somebody? I don't see any hands up. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then you're right. And so this is why making a sale is probably not on everybody's agenda, but getting to know people and getting friends. And as a matter of fact, meeting your competitors, I'm going to call them peers, but meeting your competitors can be extremely helpful. And this is something I've done in the past. And when I've been able to refer business I don't want or can't handle to my competitors or my peers. And also, I've been able to do joint ventures with those people as well. Now, potential power partners are people who are in complementary businesses. And this is a total secret to success. If you write down nothing else, please write this: find power partners. So if you're a realtor, that probably means finding lenders and people like that to be on your list. And as a matter of fact, I've done whole classes on this. And it's really great to have a big list of people who are serving your client around the issue that they are coming to you for, so that you can get referrals from all of those people. It reduces your marketing activity and the cost of sales dramatically. So that's who you would be focusing on. All right, so those are the first 2 things: go to the right place, talk to the right people. And the third thing is to show up as your best self. Now, obviously, nobody's doing this here, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. But I have been to a lot of meetings where half the people show up like a bored teenager. They're focusing on their phones and they're ignoring what everybody else is doing until it's their turn to speak. And I encourage you to show up as your best self always. And that means being extremely present. It covers a lot. So I want to break it down. The very first thing is to look the part. People do make judgments. They look at you and decide whether or not you look like their idea of X. And if you don't, all of a sudden you have a mountain to climb for credibility. And also, it can be more difficult for people to remember who you are if you don't look like who you say you are. So if there is a uniform for a successful person doing what you do, my recommendation is to wear it. And we can, object to this all day long about, oh, I don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, you do. And so does everybody else. So what people see is what they're going to believe. It almost doesn't matter what you say in some cases. And the second thing is to be prepared. Obviously, you're going to be prepared for what you're going to say, who you're going to meet, what your agenda is. But I think one of the things that is most important is to be prepared physically. Now, before this meeting, I did a little physical preparation. And I recommend, especially if you're at all a nervous networker, or you think, oh my gosh, I just don't want to do this, that you get physically prepared in a really quick, easy way. And for this, I'm going to ask everybody to stand up. That includes you, Brian and Scott. That's right. So Brian's up. Oh, fantastic. All righty. So Vanna, or rather Christine, can you show people how to do this?
Yes.
Yes, what we're going to do here, I will speak, Christine will demo, is we're going to get in our superhero pose. Our feet are going to be apart. Then we're going to put our hands on our hips with our elbows out.
I do that.
We're going to push it, we're going to suck in our guts and put our shoulders back. We're going to have a big smile on our faces, and we're going to raise our chins just a little bit because we are heroes. Arms out, Brian. Fists on hips. Fists on hips. That's right. Superhero. Come on, you're Batman, dude. You can do better than that. All right. Hey, you look at the girls have totally got it going on. Look at this. Yes, and as a matter of fact, a recent Harvard study said that doing this for a mere 30 seconds in the privacy of a stall in the bathroom without even saying anything will literally change your body to feel more confident, happier, and smarter. So I say, let's do this. However, if you've got the opportunity, I say give yourself a little bit of a pep talk and call yourself by name and use your middle name, which in my opinion should be freaking. Christine, if you would please.
I am Christine freaking Millette.
That's right. Let's say it again.
I am Christine freaking Millette.
That's right, you are. Okay, everybody who's standing there, I love you, superheroes, looking good. So Christine has said her name. We all have the same middle name. So we're going to say that on the count of 3. Okay. Stomach in, chest out. Shoulders back. Come on.
Your name. Oh.
But we're going to say your name. I'm going to say Ronnie Noize because that's my name. Christine's going to say Christine Millette because that's her name. You guys are going to say whatever your names are. Brian, Scott, same thing. Say your own name, but have your middle name be freaking. On 3, we're going to do it. I know it's silly, but it's going to make you feel good. Harvard says so. On 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm Ronnie freaking Noize. Oh, come on, you guys. Christine, lead us on this. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Looking really, really good. All right, everybody, roll your shoulders back. Roll those shoulders back. Look at the person to your left. Look at the person to your right. Give everybody a big smile and then sit down. Okay. Good job. All right. So when you are prepared, so what you have just done is that you have told your limbic system and your amygdala to be in ready position. Something's going to happen and it's going to be a good thing. And so you're also ready to pay better attention. You're more present. And I want to remind you about the attitude of giving before getting. So well done, everybody. The next thing is when you are networking, even if you are on the screen like I am, I don't know if you can see the screen, but I've got it right here. I suggest wearing a name tag. And the reason is to make it clear to other people that you are here to connect because it makes you appear, the name tag itself makes you appear friendlier, helps people remember who you are. And an unusual one makes you memorable and can be a conversation piece. But really, I mean, the perfect name tag is the little paper ones that you can just slap on your right shoulder with your first name. Don't write small and just write your name. That's fine. And keep in mind, you want it to be on your right shoulder, because as you extend, if everybody could please extend your right hand like you're going to be shaking. Okay, so what you might notice is your right shoulder moves forward, your left shoulder sort of goes backwards. So people are going to be looking at kind of at your face, and then with just a bare drop of the eyeballs, they can see your name, and it will help them remember your name a lot better. I would caution you though against putting that name tag down on the bra line, ladies, because we're not trying to draw attention to our chests. We're trying to draw attention to our names, and that means very high on the right shoulder, kind of right at your clavicle. So that's where you want to have that. But when most of us are right-handed and we go to put the name tag on, we automatically put it on our left shoulder. That is the wrong place. It's hard for people to see, and they will not automatically see it. So again, high and on your right shoulder, and your first name only. And don't worry, these little "hello, my name is" sticker is fine. Now remember, too much information can be confusing. And also use the name you want to be called. For example, I put Ronnie. My real name is Veronika, but I prefer to be called Ronnie. And if I wrote Veronika and someone called me Veronika and I said, "Oh, call me Ronnie," I make that person wrong and confused. And confused people blame you for their confusion. And so you don't want to establish an adversarial position. So if your name is Charles, but you prefer to be called Chuck, write Chuck on your name tag. Your full name's going to be on your business card, so don't worry about that.
We have a question from the audience.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, so my question is, with the name tags, when you have multiple name tags, which
Yes.
name tag should you wear? For like city council members, and then your business name tag, and then you're volunteering at the chamber. Does it depend on the event?
Who is this? Dawn speaking?
Yes, sorry.
Dawn, that is a fantastic question. And please tell everybody here that I did not pay you $1 to ask me. It's a great one.
But I apologize for not printing out your packets.
Oh, no worries. No worries. Thanks. Great question, Don. And it depends always on the context. You wear the name tag of the identity you wish to be known at the event. And so that's what I would recommend. So wherever you're going to be. However, the other thing you can do is ditch all the name tags and wear one of the little stick-on name tags with just your name handwritten in great big letters. And especially because if you follow my rules, you're going to be walking through the crowd and introducing yourself to people, which is what
I've seen people wear multiple name tags
Uh-huh.
at different events, and so I was always.
Yeah. Don, I have seen that too. And I think it's confusing to people. And when people are confused, that they're not happy. And also, I believe that it can be a little bit of a credibility buster. So I strongly recommend wearing a single name tag, 2 at the most, but particularly, I mean, and it would be fine if you were at an organizational meeting representing that meeting. So like for you, Don, I think it would be totally reasonable to wear your chamber president name tag as well as your own business name tag.
Oh, you do?
I do. I wouldn't myself. I think it's too many name tags, but it could be a
What if I created a name tag and I just had Dawn Bell and then chamber and then evergreen and then mom and daughter.
But see, that's almost too much information. If you had a name tag that just said Dawn, then people could say, Dawn, so who are you? What's going on with you? And then you have an opportunity to speak. But when you give people all that information, the more information you give them, first of all, you're going to force them to stare at your chest to read this list. And then second of all, there's nothing to talk about.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, you're welcome. So next, the 5th strategy is to have a professional handshake. Now, if you're not willing to shake hands, and a lot of people have kind of stopped since the pandemic, at least have a way for how you are going to react or respond when someone extends an arm in greeting. So, and it's okay not to do a handshake again. If you're really worried about it, I would recommend carrying the hand sanitizer or something like that, or just holding your hands. And you can kind of give people the little bow. You can give them a fist bump. I think the elbow thing's time has come and gone. But whatever you want to do, what you do want to do is not recoil from the other person, and just let them know that these are kind of your boundaries. But when you are shaking a hand, I recommend a firm but not crushing handshake with the fingers curled all the way around the other person's hand, just like in this slide. So the hands parallel to each other, nobody's hand on the top or the bottom. You're not just sticking out your fingertips for them to kiss like you were the now dead Queen of England. And you're also not acting like you're afraid to touch people. So since we're not royalty, we do it in the standard way, which is fine. The important thing is not to be weird about it, and to also give a confident and believable firm handshake. So touch is an important part of connection. And if you do it wrong, or you do it weirdly, or like you make a big deal out of it, people feel suspicious. People feel like, what's going on here? So my recommendation, have a good old standard handshake and you are covered. And again, palms are going to be together, full palm touching, fingers curled around the hand. And again, guys, no crushing. Next thing that I really want you to know is to make appropriate eye contact. Now, so I really want to make eye contact and smile, because eye contact and smiling shows that you are approachable, you're sincere, you're honest, you're interested. I mean, even if you're not those things, that's what it looks like. So eye contact is really one of the easiest and most powerful ways to make another person feel seen, understood, and validated. So this is a huge cultural thing here in the United States, but even locals don't always understand the power of eye contact. Have you, well, let me ask you a question. How do you feel when you're talking to somebody, but they're looking over your shoulder, scanning the room as if they're trying to look for somebody better to talk to? Does that make you feel special? I would think not. Or for women particularly, how do you feel when instead of looking in your eyes or in your face, men stare down your shirts? Sometimes I don't think it's because they're trying to be pervy. I think they just don't know where to look, so they look down and there's your shirt. So if you want people to remember, I'm not going to name names, but those of you guys who are laughing, are you feeling guilty? So I'm just saying. So if you want, no, okay. If you want people to remember what you said long after you're done talking, maintain good eye contact and smile. That tells the other person you are really paying attention to them. Now, the next tip I've got for you is to have a business card protocol. Because one of the most important things when you go to a networking event is to get contact info from people that you meet. You know, you want to be able to follow up with people. You want to be able to talk to them again. You want to remember who you met and how you can serve them. So it's important, I think, to figure out what to do with your business cards. Now, also remember that treating somebody else's business card like scratch paper can make them feel disrespected or offended. So I have a really simple process for live meetings. I almost always wear a jacket with a coat. And if I'm not wearing that, I've got a bag, which is, kind of a crossbody little bag that I use. And I have my business cards in my right pocket, which is where my right hand is, easily accessible. And the cards that I'm received, after I look at them, I'll put them in my left pocket. Now, here's the thing that I learned. I don't know, has anyone here been through Japanese management training?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I worked for a Japanese company.
Wait a minute. One person has.
Yeah.
A little bit just with hotels, they typically culturally, they don't prefer to be given a hand or a business card. So you're typically supposed to try to engage in other ways to give your contact information, because culturally it can make them uncomfortable.
Well, exactly. And the way you present it is as if you're going to do it. What I learned is we present it as a gift, and we would say just a real simple "watashi wa meishi desu," and present it with two hands. And we would present the either English or Japanese side to them so they could see it. And then when you receive it, you take it with 2 hands. And are you laughing at my Japanese?
She's coughing.
So you look at the English and the Japanese. And the thing that I found super important about this is when someone hands you a business card, make sure they're handing you their business card. Because a lot of people don't have a solid protocol when they're at these networking meetings, and sometimes they hand you the wrong business card. And I found this out by not checking and calling someone that I wanted to talk to follow up a conversation, and it wasn't the right person. They had handed me a business card. It was quite entertaining, not. So after a meeting, I have the business card protocol is not just while I'm there. When I go back to my office, then I go through all the cards I got and I store the ones from people I know that I'm probably going to want to hand out to someone else, if I've got them. And the other thing I do is I process the cards. Now I use a CRM, a relationship management tool. And I don't add people to a mailing list, but I do write notes that I met this person at this chamber meeting on this date and anything they told me about them. And that way, the next time I go to a meeting, I can just do a quick little search for my database. Everybody that I've met at a chamber meeting, all of their information comes up, and I'm better able to remember people and remember what we talked about last time when I see them again. It's an incredibly powerful tool. And I don't know about you, even though I have a very good memory, I go to so many meetings, it can be difficult to remember what I said to who or how, what funny story someone told me if I don't write it down. And almost everybody has some sort of CRM these days. And so it's a really easy thing to do. And that's super helpful as a business card protocol.
I have another question about business cards.
Oh, I want to hear it.
Okay, so recent technology, the way it is now, they have come out with cards that, for example, have QR code. The gentleman said, oh, just scan this, and I scanned it, and then all the information automatically goes into my phone. And then there's no business card exchange. What are your thoughts around that?
Well, I think that's absolutely okay, especially if you can flag those so that you can deal with them later. However, not everybody is that technologically savvy or comfortable. And a lot of people don't want to do that. So I think it's great to be ready for both things. The other thing, though, if I'm putting a QR code on my business card, and I have in the past, is I want to send them to a free download or something. I think that's a little more valuable.
That's what it was. It was like he had a metal card, and he said, just scan this. I scanned it with my phone, and then it was a business card that popped. It was like his information was already in my phone.
Yeah, and I think that's great if you're into it. It really sort of depends on what, again, your level of comfort with technology and the people that you are really looking to connect with. Now, for me, the majority of my clients are women who have self-employed women over 50 who have businesses and that they're working at alone. So 80% of my clients are like that. And most of them are just not that into having all the technological gadgets. And so for them, they want a hard copy business card because that kind of gives them a thing to do and something to share with people. But either way is appropriate. But still the process will be the same in terms of after you receive the business card, what do you do with that information? Do you throw it in a pile and forget it? Or do you put it in your CRM to remind yourself you have met this person, and possibly do you want to get to know them better? And is there any way you can help them? Does that make sense, Dawn?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All righty. So the 8th strategy for networking newbies And this is so even if you're not shy and introverted like me, you need to prepare your messaging for meetings so that you can relax and focus when other people are introducing themselves instead of wondering what you're going to say. Because, you know, the categories of people that you want to meet at the meeting, we've already talked about this. You probably want to meet potential power partners. You want to, so you're going to be pursuing those. You might want to introduce yourself to some peers and things of that nature. And so you know what you're supposed to be listening for as they introduce themselves, but you're not going to hear that because you can't listen and mentally rehearse when you rehearse what you want to say when it comes your time to talk. So you're going to need to know exactly how you're going to introduce yourself. And as a matter of fact, I have for you a really solid networking introduction. So I mentioned to you earlier that I had a networking plan for you. I've also got a little tool to create your own networking introduction with an example. It's just a couple of pages, super easy peasy. And that will give you a structure so that when you stand up, you can introduce yourself with complete and total confidence. And that way you can really listen as other people are introducing themselves so that you can figure out, I want to talk to that person and that person and that person, because you don't want to talk to everybody all at once. You're probably going to connect with a couple people after the introductions. You will also, speaking of knowing what to say, you're going to need answers to the questions like, what do you do? Which is what I call the elevator speech. That's 5 to 13 words. It's a quick, pithy answer. You're also going to need a good response to the what's new with you question. Because you're going to these meetings, you're going to see people week after week or month after month. And if you say, oh, same old, you have just really missed an opportunity there. And so you don't have to give them a rundown of all the work you've done, but you do need an answer to what new projects you have, recent wins or successes. You can even talk about your clients. So one really great way to answer what's new could be something like, well, I'm walking on air today. Do I look different? I just got a fantastic review on my Facebook page from a happy client, and I just feel fantastic. And they'll say, oh, well, that's great. Congratulations. What'd they say? Or even if they don't, at least you have said something that's better than same old, or nothing new. How about you? So if you have to think about, what's new, you've probably missed an opportunity. So I just recommend that you really think about how you're going to verbally communicate to people at these meetings. And I'm not saying that you spew sales messages at people, because that would be wrong and that would be weird. But I do think that you want to be able to have some reasonable conversational topics that are not just in a, nice weather we're having sort of thing. Now, the 6th strategy. Okay. Have you ever heard of the golden rule? The do unto others as they would have done to you. Well, you can apply it to networking, because referrals, you will see, are golden. So remember that you are not there to sell. That's the transactional error that we talked about earlier. You are there to create relationships and to support other entrepreneurs. And the best way you can do that is by referring. So when you refer, you support more than just the person you refer to. You also make a fan of the person that you refer. So when I introduce someone, say to Christine, because they're interested in this type of services she represents, both Christine and the person I refer to her can feel really good about that referral. And, not only will Christine appreciate it, but the person I refer to Christine will appreciate it. And they'll also kind of think better of me, and I will have connected people in a helpful way. So there obviously, there's no money exchange hands, no commissions, no gifts, but a debt of gratitude is incurred for services rendered, you could say, which increases trust and makes both of them more likely to refer back to me. So it is a win-win-win, baby. I really like that. If you can refer, do it. Now, networking is about connections and support, not just passing out your card. So I recommend referring often to really be a connector to help others. And if you must have a motivation, then you can consider each introduction a deposit into your reputation and reciprocity bank. Now, those are my 9 core strategies for networking newbies. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm an introvert, and the only reason I started networking was because I am well aware of the power and influence of personal referrals and connections. And because it was hard for me being shy and introverted, I developed a strategy to make it easier for me personally. And I discovered that this strategy was amazing. So I've been teaching it to my clients for the last 19 years, and it has so worked for them. And this strategy has built my confidence. It has expanded my circle of influence. It's done wonders for my reputation, and it's exposed me to a ton of prospects in a way that I never expected. Anybody here interested in learning this strategy?
Absolutely.
Okay, well then here it is, baby. I pretended that I was the host. I acted like the host. I looked for other people that I could make comfortable. So I volunteered to help check in people, which I think is really the best thing for if you're a newbie or if you're an introvert like me, because it forces you to interact with people. So in other words, I put my focus on helping other people feel welcome, and it made their experience better. And it has been tremendous for me. So getting involved is great. But if nothing else, you can act like the host. And one very simple way to act like the host is once you are there, if you happen to notice somebody standing alone, they could either be a wallflower or a lone wolf. You might not really know what their deal is. But if you see them, you can approach them and talk to them. You can ask them, a social question. You just very simply introduce yourself to them, and then begin a conversation. Okay, so there we go. This is my little short version of our networking training. And before we get into the next steps and free tools, let's take a moment to see if there are any unanswered questions or anything on your mind, anything not clear.
And I have the mic. I'm going to pass it around if anyone has questions.
Okay, thank you, Dawn.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Well, so when you are giving your introduction to somebody, kind of like your elevator speech, but is your introduction going to be much shorter when you first meet them? And then, if the conversation goes, you go into an elevator speech, and what components should be in that initial hello?
Okay, so that a brilliant question. So what do you do and who are you are social questions. And what that means is you need to have an extremely short answer. And that's why I think that you want to be prepared with your entire full networking introduction. And then you can just cherry pick little things out of there. So obviously, what's your name? That's easy. It's usually 2 words, maybe 3 for some of us, especially 3 if you're going to add your middle name in there. And then when they say, oh, really, what do you do? That's a social question. And most people are expecting to hear a job title. And what that usually is going to be 2 to 3 words. And so that means that if you speak longer than about 3 seconds, people are going to think that you have hijacked the conversation and that you're being really weird and boring. So this is where you want to have that elevator speech. And so, for example, mine, so I will meet someone, they'll say, hi, I don't think we've met. Hi, I'm Ronnie Noize, and you are. And they'll say, well, I'm, Mary Smith. I'll say, great, Mary, what do you do? And she'll say, whatever. And sometimes she'll give me this long, weird, rambling thing, just pretty boring. And that does not make me very fascinated or want to know her better. And I also feel kind of weird because she's hijacked the conversation. But if she were to ask me first, oh, Ronnie, what do you do? That my elevator speeches, I help small businesses attract more clients. And usually that stops people because it's not a title like I'm a marketing coach, which most people do not know what that is, by the way. And also that's kind of a conversation stopper, because if you tell people a job title, then they're going to think they know everything. And so, and they're going to put you in that box. So if you give them a elevator speech and talk about what you do and for whom, so I help small businesses attract more clients, then they'll be like, wait, what? How do you do that? What's that mean? And all of a sudden we're in a conversation and I can start giving them little pieces. That does not give me permission to start bloviating, but it does get a conversation moving. And so we want to keep in mind that when someone asks us a social question, we need to deliver a social answer. Did that answer the question?
Yes, perfectly.
Thank you.
That's a really good point, because so many people, when they're doing introductions at networking events, they're just saying, hi, I'm Dawn Bell and I'm a mortgage lender, or I'm a sales manager, or whatever. But I need to say, they help people find a perfect mortgage or something creative like that, but that's really good. And I really like, I was just gonna mention, going to networking events and you find a lot of folks and people kind of sitting at their own little table or standing by themselves. And it's really helped me by just walking up to them and making that introduction and possibly find somebody else in the room that they might connect with is a really powerful thing. So I like that.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, Don, I'm going to include in my gifts, my little instant introduction, which I'm going to run over right now. So if you're wondering, how do I introduce myself to people I don't even know? And so I'm going to go through it right now. And as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the share because I don't have a slide for this. Okay, so now you can see me. Hi. So what happens? Oh, thank you for smiling at me. I appreciate it. Okay, so when you see someone, you're going to need social permission. And so that means you're going to be making eye contact. And if they give you any sort of, nod or lip curl or smile, that means okay. And so what you're going to do is you're going to do 12 words and about 4 gestures. So the first thing you're going to do, so you've made eye contact, that means you can approach. So you walk up, intermittent eye contact, and you stand in front of them, and then you wave and say hi. And then you say, I do a palms up thing. Like, I say, I don't think we've met. And then I touch my heart and I say, I'm Ronnie Noize. And then I extend my hand to shake and say, and you are? I have done this on airplanes. I have done this with celebrities. I have done this in networking events. It always works. It puts the introduction in context, and it's extremely low aggression, as opposed to walking up to someone and saying, hey, you don't know me, but I know you, and I help people like you get rich, then blah, blah, whatever it is. Because I don't want to be blasted with a sales message. And when you're and I'm sure that most of you don't either. And when you are at a meeting, most people are there to meet and connect. And so that's why you give you start with the greeting, hi, and you also, this is what you can do with your hands. So you're not just standing there like a weirdo. Just like, hi, I don't think we've met. And that I don't think we've met, that gives the context for, this is why I'm approaching you. And then you say, I like to touch my heart. I know it's a little bit monkeyish or childish, but it makes the other person feel like I'm not going to attack them. Say, I'm Ronnie Noize and you are, and then extend my hand. It is so easy and so non-threatening. That is just a super way to meet people. And I strongly recommend that people use this this model. Anyway, I'm going to give it to you guys for free. And as a matter of fact, so let's talk about your next steps. So how to apply these strategies and tools to get more from your networking. I would suggest you download my free tools. And let me show you what you're getting here. So I'm going to give you a, you can see right now. So tiny.cc/n, so lowercase n, 4n, lowercase downloads. So you just go to that link. You can download all of these things. And what you're going to get is that instant introduction, how to introduce yourself to anyone, anytime, any place. You're also going to get my killer elevator speech tool that grabs the attention of your ideal clients, even when they're barely listening to you, and especially when they're not listening, because if you're talking about them, their brain's going to recognize it. You're also going to get my networking rockstar introduction tool, so you can get the full attention of everybody in the meeting when you stand up to introduce yourself. And finally, as I promised, my networking strategy cheat sheet, which is a 1-page networking guide to help you build your business with networking. All of these are yours free today. The download link is right there. You can just write it down, and I think maybe Dawn will send it out afterwards.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Please notice that this link is case sensitive, all lowercase, and that will get you there. All righty. So we just have a couple more minutes for those of you who are looking for my personal help and attention as I am the founder and head coach at the DIY Marketing Center, where we help small businesses attract more clients. I have a once monthly webinar, also a once a month Q&A with the coach, that's me, and plus a monthly tools demo where I show people how to work things like Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. It's only $19 a month. And so that is also available at DIYmarketingcenter.com. Now, before we go, we have about 2 minutes, I think, left on my time. And we covered a lot, and we zipped through really quickly. But I have one question for you, which is, what was the most useful idea you heard in today's meeting?
I think that's a great question to lead into introductions. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to pass the mic around. We're going to do introductions, and then maybe at the end you can say your useful idea.
Awesome.
I'm going to start with you.
Yes, thank you. I'm Evelyn Hernandez, and I'm with Ridgefield Flooring. So, hi, everyone. I think one of the ideas was the business cards, because I always use the QR code. So you're right. I always get issues with people saying, "Oh, I don't know how to use this." So I should bring my paper. So thank you. For Lava Java, I don't know. I need to refresh that a little bit. I'm from Lava Java, and I serve you amazing coffee.
It is amazing.
Made with love.
Is that good? Yep, that was good.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elisa, and I think one of the best, and I'm with Battleground Healthcare, and I help people get healthy, and people can't afford to pay for that. And I think one of the most useful things was acting like you're the host. I think that's a great tip.
Second that.
Hi, I'm Kim Blower. I work at Fiber Credit Union. I'm a mortgage Commerce president.
I've always been.
See, also with Fiber Credit Union, the most useful thing was actually those.
Hi, I'm Judy Winslow with the Fort Vancouver Regional Library Foundation and all friends of the library groups, including the Ridgefield Community Library. And the most useful thing to me was pretty much everything. I do try to act like the host, but I think in making people feel comfortable, but helping them make connections, I think is so helpful for everybody. Thanks, Ronnie.
Thanks, Judy. Good to see you.
You too.
Thank you so much for providing so much good information on that, Ronnie. Great job. My name is Crystal, represent two small businesses, local small businesses from the center, photography for myself, and local roastery for coffee for my husband. And I feel the best part about this presentation was acting like the host as well. I do try to do that wherever I go, and try to find somebody who looks like they need just to, to find somebody to connect with. I think that's really helpful.
Hi there, I'm Ashley Constantine. I'm currently actually transitioning into project management, and I would definitely agree that being the host and just finding the person that you can make comfortable is definitely the best piece of information.
And she's my niece.
And I'm Dawn's niece.
John Rose with Rose Realty. I think one of the point that I took away is we talked about looking at business cards and reading them. As I tend to, when we get into meetings, I was just at one last night and I'm getting a lot of business cards. I tend to just shove them in my pocket. So acknowledging, reading them, and making sure you got the right information.
Hi, I'm Melissa Olson. I'm a nutritionist and the owner of Into Nutrition. And I think the most useful thing that tip that I got today was finding 3 seconds to describe what you do instead of giving them a title. Because when I say nutritionist, people make a lot of assumptions, and I work a little bit differently from most nutritionists. And I realized I need to find a way to get that across quickly.
That's exactly what I was going to say, and I'm going to practice it right now. Good afternoon. I'm Shannon Decker, Business Development Officer with Columbia Credit Union. What I do is I meet with small business owners and business owners actually of any size, see what they love or what they like about their financial institution and what they wish they loved about their financial institution. And what I took away, Ronnie, great to see you again, by the way, is the hand over the heart. And it's just a great gesture, and I really like that. I'm going to start using that.
Thank you, Shannon.
All right, I am Sharif Berzik, and I help local businesses with their financing needs on behalf of Columbia Credit Union. And I really liked it's been mentioned before, but the two things that really stuck out for me were acting like the host, because that puts you in a mindset of connecting people, making it about them and not about you, as well as my attempt right now to flip around. This is what I actually do, not what my title is.
Yeah.
I am Josh Lockwood. Their functional goals as a physical therapist. The things I thought were most useful were having a business card protocol, because I'm terrible about.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Lawrence. Two things I learned. One, I'm with the YMCA, and I'm obviously wearing my name tag in the wrong spot. But I also really enjoyed learning not to introduce with the title. So I'm working to bring the YMCA to the city of Ridgefield and build community.
Jason Crone with the Ridgefield Raptors, and I appreciated the gesturing remarks because I never know what to do with my hands like others. And maybe more importantly, not to stare at people's name tags too long.
Hi, I'm Nicole Aspenson. I'm a financial strategist, and I help people learn how to never lose money again and how money works. I was just talking last night to another coach, the open hands and elicits trust. I love that, and the heart. Like, I practice doing this when I say my name, because we were just talking about that last night. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Maria Swinger-Inskeep with the City of La Center, where I serve as the Director of Administrative Services. And I really liked the Superman pose because I am an introvert. And so sometimes I have to like psych myself up to, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be confident. And so I like that suggestion.
Hi. I don't think I met you before. My name is Christine, and I'm glad to meet you. Who are you? So I really like the hand gestures because it's just really touched me, and it's a very physical way of welcoming somebody, and other people can see that you're being nice and you seem more approachable. I love it. Hi.
Hi, I'm Dustin Schuler with Schuler Digital, and I help small and medium-sized businesses connect with their customers. My favorite part of this, I think, was referring to other people, because if you're at like a social mixer event, isn't it just awesome when someone's like, hey, you know so-and-so, oh, you guys gotta meet, he can help you out, this and that. Oh, my big takeaway.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Ronnie. How are you? I'm Norma from Optimate. Hi, everybody.
Oh, hi.
Norma from Optimate Commercial Residential Cleaning, 20 years in business. I do new work meeting for like 3-4 years for my business. And I really love to do this. I really love to meet people. And you don't know somebody, you can introduce yourself fast and ask your business card, right? So what I do for my business is I get a business card, come back home and post on my Facebook, post on Instagram about your business, because I want to help people if they know, because I know on Facebook somebody was saying, oh, this is construction, or this is doctor, or something like that. So the other thing is a relationship. So I really love to go in relationship. So when you go to other network meetings, you know these people. So only be yourself. That's what I do for my business. Oh, and send the emails to all these people, for you can refresh your brain to see what you meet, from Vancouver or Ridgefield Chambers. Thank you.
That step. Sharon.
Yeah.
Sharon.
Yes, share your business card and Instagram. For example, right now, I wish I stay in the beginning because I really love Ronnie. I know Ronnie for many years from the Vancouver Chamber. So what I do is I take pictures, and right now I take a picture for everybody and post on my Facebook and Instagram. So, and about the Ridgefield Chambers and well, so everybody that want that share your business card with me, I have to share mine with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Norma.
I'm Gus Farrow with the Ridgefield Raptors, and I think there were just some really good reinforcements. You know, I'm keeping your attention and not looking around the room. That's hard sometimes, not because you want to get to everybody, but it's just a natural ADD type of behavior. But I think being the host and being of service are super important, because I don't want to leave there anyway with the sale, but I think it breaks those doors down pretty quickly to be trusted and eventually be able to make your way back to that person.
Thank you. My name is Bart Hansen. I'm with the Building Industry Association. And, you know, we learn a lot as far as helping folks get into homes and being able to buy homes, keeping people employed in our community. I love Act Like the Host. I think that's great. My night job is a Vancouver City Councilman. So at Politician School, we learn things such as the Superman stance, the fig leaf, the Sergeant Major, the Obama. Notice the hand is in the pocket so they're not flying around. No, but it definitely does come down to your stance and how people perceive you. So yeah, and there really isn't a politician school. It's called political science.
Thank you, sir. I apologize for being tardy. I got a little trouble out in the parking lot. There was no parking places, so I parked in the district, you know, official vehicles only, so that I met the supervisor. And we made. But anyway, I've only got 2 minutes to go move my truck. So anyway, I'm Robert Mile with Global Security. We do fire alarm system security, intrusion, CCTV. We're probably 20 counties from here to Tacoma, the leading security company in the area. So thank you.
Thank you. Norm Parker. Work hard to make sure you have reasonable sewer rates in city of Ridgefield, Clark Regional Wastewater District, and the concept of having your name tag, I think, was something that hit me.
Great, I was waiting to see what you were saying.
Don,
yeah.
No, we have a couple folks here in the Zoom room that haven't yet introduced themselves.
Yes, please, thank you.
Brian, do you want to go first? You're going to need to unmute.
We need you to unmute so we can hear you.
I was working on it.
Ah.
I'm Brian Delano. I'm with Ridgefield Flooring, and the one that stood out to me was the name tags and the business cards.
Very good, thank you.
It's Scott.
And Scott?
Scott had a coffee emergency, so he stepped away. But so he says they're going to come to me, but tell them I stepped away for a minute. So sorry about that.
No worries.
Oh no, is that Scott Furry?
Yes.
Oh, dang.
He was so excited to see you today.
I was
And
excited.
we need to tell him to put his last name or maybe Latte Da on his name so we can, know what Scott it is. I do want to give a shout out to our board members because I couldn't do all of this and for the community without the help of our board members and our community efforts. So I do appreciate every single one of you. There are a few of you here. Please raise your hand for my board. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Don, I have a quick question for
Yes.
Ronnie. Ronnie, a lot of times when I'm in, this is Shannon, times when I'm at networking events, I'm talking to the person and they're like, would you mind sending me blah, blah, blah. And so I'll make a quick note on the back of their business card to remind myself. How do you feel about business cards that have both the front and the back, all the real estate's taken, or the slick business cards that you can't write on?
Okay, so I know, Shannon, that's a great question, and those are ongoing aggravations. It happens to me. My business cards just like that. There's no, I've got this little square one. There's no place to write on it. But I always have a small notepad, just a little teeny one in my handbag. And so I write myself notes, or I've also written notes for other people. And people think that it's just a really handy thing. And so that's what I do.
Okay. And I might recommend the notes in your phone too, because, iCloud's never gonna be full, so. Right? Any other questions? Okay, so member spotlight, anybody here from Live Nation? Live Nation is our member spotlight today, so we appreciate them. And a couple of other things I want to chat about are coffee connections at Lava Java, first and third Friday of every month. We have our Wine Down Wednesday, and that is on the third Wednesday of the month. We showcase different wineries in Ridgefield. It's a lot of fun, especially if you like to drink wine and network, but we can practice our networking skills at our Wine Down Wednesday. We have this event, of course, and then our ribbon cuttings. So our ribbon cuttings, we are showcasing our new business owners, even if they're doing a remodel or there's maybe a change of ownership, anything like that. Our ribbon cuttings, we come out, we get city council members to showcase this event, and we really share it on social media. So we have a ribbon cutting coming up Saturday.
The 29th at 11 a.m. and it's in Ridgefield Heights. It's over by Windy Hills and Winery. And I heard the first 40 people that show up can get a wine tasting for 2.
Is it Lennar?
Yeah, it's Lennar Homes. Yeah, Lennar Homes for Ridgefield Heights. Ridgefield Heights is the name of the subdivision.
Perfect, thank you. It looks like maybe does anyone else have a question on Zoom? Maybe? Okay, all right. Well, I think do you have any events that you want to share? We are past 1 o'clock, so if you leave, feel free and we won't give you negative looks. Yes, okay.
Very quickly, I have a Money 101. I'm going to be at the Ridgefield Library on May 24th. Wine, Living Well on May 10th, Collective downtown here. And then I have County supporting a friend with Ruby Ribbon. We're doing an event on May 2nd, downtown Ridgefield. So come see me for the details.
Perfect. I just wanted to remind everybody that this weekend is the PUD Home and Garden Idea Fair. Columbia Credit Union will be out there. I'll be out there all weekend, so come and get some ideas and do some sprucing up of your home.
Where is it located?
Get some floors.
Fairgrounds.
The fairgrounds.
Again, I'm Judy Musa, and the Woodland Friends of the Library are having an event. It's called Love Your Library. It is also this Saturday, but you can do all the other morning stuff and then join me 5 o'clock. Tickets are still available. It's $60 and it includes your meal and your wine and live music, and it supports a new library in Woodland.
All right.
Lisa here with Battleground Healthcare, and we are participating in Give Big next Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you're not aware of it, it is replacing Give More 24. The one-day event that usually happened in September is happening next Tuesday and Wednesday, and it's a statewide platform. Maybe we'll get some donors from other parts of the state, but we'd love to have your support and just help getting the word out, because there's not a lot of awareness of that. This event has been really shifted to next week. So thank you.
So just in case there's not enough going on Saturday, hosting Healthy Kids Day here in Ridgefield this year for the first time. So we'll be at the library in Davis Park. Lots of fun family activities from 11 to 1, vision screenings, STEM projects. We're going to use Gaga Ball, lots of fun stuff. So just come down and visit us.
Very nice. Join us today. We are dismissed.
And a big thank you to Ronnie for your wonderful presentation, and I'll be looking to download your information.
Yes, thank you, Miss Ronnie. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Maybe we'll circle back for a recap later.
Bye.
Dawn, did you